WCB Podcast, your source for all things Chicago Blackhawks and everything hockey. With your host, Jarom and Tanner. Let's do it. Jarom and Tanner.
I can count.
All right. Welcome to another edition of the WCB Podcast. It's Jarom. It's Tanner. It's Nolly. What's up, guys?
Yeah.
Go Leafs, go!
We are
That's all I got.
We are a Toronto Maple Leafs podcast today, and possibly for the playoff run. Are we doing this? Or can they finally do it? Can they finally do it?
If they get past the first round, Game 7, then it's possible.
Hey, you know how you do that? You don't make it to Game 7.
That's what they need to do, but we'll see what happens.
I think if it goes to Game 7, they're going to lose.
Hey, come on, guys. Come on. We're a Leafs podcast. We're not we're not going against them right now. I came on here trying to bring good energy, and this is what you guys are feeding me. I don't like it. I expected it from Tanner. I didn't expect it from you, Jarom.
Sorry.
Well, I have Tampa winning in 7, so I mean, I kind of.
Yeah, no, I know what you say about the Leafs.
If whoever, like I said, we talked about in our playoff preview, is whoever wins the Toronto Tampa series will defeat the Boston Bruins in the second round.
Yeah, I don't want to look ahead because they have to get over the hump. Like, there's the Game 4, they have to get over the hump, and like we can go into this more later if you want. I don't care.
Yeah, let's do Hawk stuff first, huh?
Yeah. So
Yeah,
Hawks talk,
can
or should we say Ice Hogs talk? Because,
Ice Hogs.
Yeah, there really is nothing going on with the Blackhawks.
Which is good, because I would hope there's like really nothing going on.
Yeah, just closer and closer to that lottery draft.
Mm-hmm.
What is it? The 6th,
8th,
the 8th?
Yeah,
that's shit. Like 2 weeks.
Yep. It's coming up quick. We talked about it last week where we think they're gonna end up picking. What are you feeling? What's your vibes, Nolly? Where are you feeling?
You know what? I went on a website the other day and I did random lottery ball picks, and the Hawks came up number 1. So I didn't even try it again. I don't want to test my luck, but
For one,
that's where I'm praying. But
Yeah.
honestly, I want it to be 1 so bad that that's just where I'm at. That's just what I want. That's all I want, so that's all I'm just gonna say, and that's all I'm believing.
That's what it'll be. It'll be 1.
you said 1 or 4.
Honestly, I was just thinking, like, I don't know if they've ever had the 2nd overall pick.
I don't think so.
Wouldn't be a bad time to have it. And then
Yeah.
that way people aren't pissed off that, it's.
But I mean, it'd be great. It'd be better to have 1.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because I mean, people forget though, like any other draft, Fantelli is 100% a runaway first overall pick.
I mean, it's the same as like when McDavid and Eichel went.
Right.
I
And
was just
it's
gonna say
like,
that.
wow, this guy had a stellar collegiate season. Like any other year, he'd be number 1.
But this guy is lighting up juniors more than anybody ever has.
Yeah, and so we've seen how like that year turned out, and I don't want the Eichel of this situation
No.
either.
I was just
I
gonna
want the
say,
McDavid.
Do
Is
not
there
give
any-
me nine years of no playoffs and bottom of the barrel Buffalo Sabres hockey.
Is there any video of Fantelli drunk screaming Chicago coming for you?
No,
Well, we haven't
be
gotten
saying
there yet.
Columbus. No. He said he'd be saying Anaheim.
No,
I'm
because
coming for Anaheim.
did he say Buffalo though? Eichel called
Yeah, because
Buffalo.
Buffalo was last. Buffalo was dead last.
Oh, okay.
So he was like, Buffalo, I'm coming for you. And then they got bumped to 2, and he's fucking right still.
Yeah. So Ice Hogs.
Oh, yeah.
That was a good Hawks talk.
Good Hawks talk. They're in the Calder playoffs right now. I don't know anything else besides that. I really
They beat the Iowa Wild for I don't know if it's the first round or playing round, but they won whatever that is to move on.
It's like, I think it's the first round. It was only a best of 3.
So I was looking at the AHL playoff bracket, and it's really weird because each division has a different amount of teams, so a different amount of teams make the playoffs from each division. So like some divisions have playing rounds and some just have the first round.
Well, isn't it like the West Coast plays fewer games than the East Coast do?
Yeah, but they have more teams out there, I think it was, in the West.
Huh.
One of them
That's
had
weird.
more teams. I don't remember, but yeah.
Playoff brackets.
All right.
Yeah, because I think they just want to limit travel, and like the West is so spread out.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Yeah, it's interesting how they do that. But
Yeah, it's wild.
hey, it's an AHL. It's a development league. It's not have to be perfect, but yeah. So the Ice Hogs are. So who do they have now? They beat the
They beat
Wild.
the Wild. I didn't look to see who they're up against now.
I had seen it because I followed them on Instagram. And
Oh, the Stars?
it's the Texas Stars, yeah.
That's right. Yeah, that is right.
And it's a best of 5.
It was
Yeah.
best of 3 before.
Yeah, it was best of 3 before, and Rockford had won both games in OT, which is kind of nasty.
That's wild. Love it.
No, it was against the Wild.
Yeah.
I just think it's crazy. I don't know if you had seen that, but like I've mentioned in our group chat, but like Rocco Grimaldi, who the Ice Hogs have like out of nowhere. So
Yeah. When you said that, I was like, I didn't even know. I knew he went down to the A. I had no idea that the Ice Hogs.
So apparently he had a PTO at the beginning of the season with Anaheim. They liked him, but only signed him to an AHL contract. And he led their team in points, which is like the crazy thing to me is like I found the article about this is when the trade deadline came around and the Hawks traded Dylan Sakura for like Maxime Galad or whatever, who's like the Anaheim kid, who it was just like, why would you do that? There was a minor league deal that was Rocco Grimaldi and somebody else to the Ice Hogs for future considerations. So I think it was a part like the Dylan Sakura trade was a part of like the future considerations deal in the minor leagues, which turned out great because thanks Dylan. But Rocco Grimaldi's sister before the game 1 she did the national anthem. I don't know if you guys saw that. So I was like, that's pretty funny.
That's pretty cool. I wonder if how she got to the game. Like she
right.
just following him around, like singing the anthem for them, or
yeah, I don't know what brought that up, or they were just like, "Hey, can your sister sing?"
Hey, we're out of singer. Anybody got a sister around?
Yeah, right.
He hasn't been in NHL since 2021.
Oh, Grimaldi?
Yeah, December 16th, he was called up on an emergency loan.
I mean, he had 73 points in 70 games in the AHL.
Oh no, they called back that goal for the Hurricanes.
Oh,
sorry.
I don't know, but you guys, I don't know if you saw too, but like Gus started the scoring out for the Ice Hogs, and then Cini scored, and they assisted on each other's goals.
Yeah,
that's pretty neat. And then
I hope we see more.
I think Soderblom is just playing disgustingly well, of course.
That's what you want. You want him to play well. You want Reichel to play well. I mean, if Senny can pan out to be an NHL guy, like that, you want him to be playing well. Like this is what you want.
Oh yeah,
especially like for a nice playoff run, winning that first series. That's great. Now they're playing Texas. It looks like Texas was the top team in the Central Division, so it should be a tough go for them. So hopefully all the kids show up, and that's what they're there for.
I mean, you want to play as long as possible. So like my thing is the young defensemen, let them win experience, because those are the guys you're going to probably be seeing more up, getting a little bit more playing time next year with the Hawks, because I feel like the 4 spots are locked in. As of right now, I know things can change, but you have the Seth Jones, Zaitsev, Connor Murphy, and Tenorti. I think those 4 spots are locked in. Then I think the last 2 are going to be revolving door, like 5 games here, 10 games there, kind of thing.
Yeah,
well,
hopefully they trade Seth Jones, but whatever.
Yeah. I was gonna say, looking at that game 2 though, that the Ice Hogs played, their defense really stepped up because Isaac Phillips scored the first goal of the game, and Regulus assisted on that. Second goal was assisted by Galvis and Vlasic, and then Philip Roos got in on the third goal, and then the overtime goal was also assisted by Vlasic. So defensemen put up like 4 points, like on those 4 goals. 5 points, 5 points. 5 points on those 4 goals. 6 points, maybe. I don't know.
We've been doing really well with math today.
Yeah, I'm having a hard time. I was just, I do a lot of math at work, and my fucking head hurts.
Numbers and stuff.
But yeah, I don't know. So yeah, that series kicks off on Friday at 7, I think, in Dallas. or Texas, wherever they actually play out of. I don't know what city they are in,
Who knows?
but yeah. So I don't think that pretty much does it for Hawks talk. A nice little quick section there. But we'll switch over to playoff talk here, NHL talk. Lots of games going on. We're in game 4 now in most series, game 5.
Right, yeah, 5, 4. I think all the 5s are today then, technically.
All right.
Or today starts the game 5s.
All right, where do you want to start? West or East?
It's your guys' show.
Tanner?
I mean East. Those games are first.
All right, so we will start with just a recap. We're not going to really get too much into this one. Boston and the Florida Panthers. Boston's up 3-1. I mean, did anybody really expect anything else from the series?
After the one game that Florida won, I was hoping maybe by some miracle they'd win another one in Florida. I expected them to win one game. I picked them for the series to go at 5, Boston in 5, but I was hoping Kachuk would will them to one win back in Florida, but it's just Allmark challenged him to a fight, and I think it's just the wheels are off. It's over.
Yeah. I just thought Boston was going to take him out in 4, but like, not surprised that the Panthers won 1, but they're going with Alex Lyon or Leon, or I don't know, and like he's originally from the Flyers.
Yeah.
And
did he play in the Wolves last year and he got suspended for flipping off or doing something like unsportsmanlike?
did he?
Yeah, something like
He
that.
was on Carolina.
Yeah, Carolina. So he was in the Wolves because the Carolina.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fucking hilarious. I forgot about that.
But they went with Bob last game, and I mean, he did not look good. So it's
yeah, I haven't been paying attention to that series at all, but like
plus Ekblad's out. Like they're just
Boston's doing without Bergeron too. I mean,
and Krejci missed last game, but like
so it's like they're just resting these guys now so they can get focus on the second round. I mean, Bergeron's supposed to be back game 5.
Which I wouldn't even put him in. Just let him rest a little more. Maybe so he gets some touches before the second round, but
yeah, I mean Pasternak's so disgusting that he's probably like all you need. But I don't know if you've seen the highlights either of Charlie McAvoy absolutely destroying everybody that comes near him.
He has been a fucking wrecking ball. Just anybody he can is just destroying.
Yeah. But I mean, that's all I've really seen is just highlights because, like I said, I'm not watching those games. I do not care about either of those teams.
And then we talked about it yesterday in the group text. Just Bertuzzi just being the most Bruin playoff hockey guy I've ever seen, and I don't know how that could have been a more perfect pickup for them, which I fucking hate. I absolutely hate.
Between him and Marchand, like, come on, like
Marchand's not even doing much.
He doesn't have to now. He
doesn't have to because Bertuzzi's just out there just being Bertuzzi.
God. Yeah, so that one gets wrapped up on Thursday, right? We said, or no, tomorrow, Wednesday. So today when this post game 5, I think this one's over. I can't see Florida pulling this off.
It's also it's in Boston.
I was gonna say I don't think they pull it off in Boston again.
The other series that we really didn't focus on too much when we were doing our previews is the Carolina Hurricanes versus the New York Islanders. Carolina's up 3-1 in that series. They're currently playing right now, and I just accidentally exited out. What's the score?
1-0.
1-0.
Islanders.
And a 1. Again, this is another one that's like I think maybe Islanders steal another game, but I just think Carolina's going to be too much for them.
I picked the Islanders in my bracket because I figured no Pacioretty, no Svechnikov. Like I didn't think that they would have the scoring, but man, they've looked fucking good. I mean, losing Tavo hurts too, but it's just who can play defensive hockey better than the other team, and right now it's the Hurricanes.
I wish I saved.
I mean,
some ridiculous stat for Antti Ratna. Like in
I was gonna say he's putting up some good stats too, which is
His home and away record in the playoffs. Did you see that? Is that what it was?
That's what I was trying to figure out what it was. I can't find where I saw that.
What was it? It was like 7-0 at home and like 1-6 on the road.
Think so.
Ranta?
Yeah, in the playoffs.
Oh my god. I mean, yeah, he's just been out playing Sorokin, but I don't feel like they just haven't also. The Islanders haven't really been a super offensive team, or they don't strike me as a very offensive team. They've been more of just like the boring, like shut everything down defensively and score on the minimal chances that you create.
Yep.
That's how they've won games this year.
I thought getting Barzell back would be a huge bump, and him and Horvat together would be something, but it's not, and it's just not working for them. They need Trotz behind the bench again.
Yeah, too bad.
Yeah. Sorry.
I still can't believe that. You go to back-to-back Eastern Conference Finals with Barry Trotz, and then you just go,
yeah. After Washington was like, we're gonna lowball you after winning us our first Stanley Cup ever.
Yeah.
Like what? Poor Barry Trotz, just so undervalued.
Doesn't make any sense.
And then David Poile was like, "Don't worry, Barry, I got you again.
You can have my job.
You were on my side for over 20 years. Let's make it a partnership again."
Yeah, there you go.
It was ridiculous. Like home and away, the difference between them is just insane.
Yeah.
But,
so you're saying they're gonna win tonight because they're at home?
Yeah, I mean, if that's really
bound to be.
Yeah. And then all right, so let's go to their feature matchups here in the Eastern Conference. Let's start with Patty Kane and the Rangers and Jack Hughes and the New Jersey Devils. What the fuck is going on in this city?
The road team's on fire.
Nobody appreciates the paying fan going to their games. They just do not want to win in front of the home crowd.
Take your home ice,
honestly, like
shove it.
Yeah.
Was it as much as like the road team winning, or is it a Vitek Vanacek could not handle it and Schmid is just tearing it up now?
Yeah. I haven't been able to watch too much of this. I just have it on like the background because it's always the same time as the Leafs game.
Yeah.
And my attention's more so on the Leafs, but it seems like the Rangers are just kind of relying on the power play because their power play was unreal the first 2 games, and the last 2 games it was dog shit. So I don't know. Lindy Ruff.
Kreider had like 5 goals in the first 3 games or something, didn't he?
I know, almost all of them on the power play.
4 power play goals in the first 2 games.
Yeah.
The postseason record's 9. The most in one round is 5.
And he had 4 in 2 games.
In 2 games.
Oh man. So I don't know if Lindy Ruff figured their power play out and it's just been shutting them down ever since, but yeah, something's off here, and I don't know.
Well, did you see what Gallant last game? He was talking. He was yeah, we didn't show up to play. We only showed up to sit there and bitch and moan to the refs about missed calls and stuff. Like, I mean, I love when coaches are just brutally honest like that about the teams. But
I feel like we've been getting a lot of that in every round this year.
I mean, speaking of brutal honesty, how about Jack Hughes after the first 2 games? Like, how did it feel after losing those first 2? He was like, I mean, yeah, we got whacked.
And I don't want to sit here and talk to you guys after that.
Yeah, it's so fucking funny.
I love that kid. I love him so much. His interviews are awesome. Like, oh man.
What was the other one during the season where he was like, yeah, well, I mean, we're on a pretty good heater, so.
Yeah, we just went on a 13-game heater, so.
I think he's underestimated. Like, I think people are putting like all their eggs in like Zegras being like oh, the big guy. Jack Hughes needs to be in that conversation as
I think it's because he was the first overall and he was so tiny when he came in and the Devils were not good that people were like, oh, like, you know, he's overrated first overall pick, but now he's like finally coming into his own. And
well, I mean, if he didn't get hurt last year, he probably would have made a bigger impact because he was over a point per game last year and then went down for like the last half of the season.
Yeah, like he's so much fun to watch, dude. He's so much fun. He had that penalty shot in game 1. It was like 5-1, but like it was still cool to get a penalty shot and score. He scores the opening on a breakaway game in the
last game.
Game
Game 4.
And he just shushes the crowd. Like he's all about the dramatics. He gives me Patty Kane vibes, but like the confidence Patty Kane, but not the like I'm gonna do stupid stuff off the ice. Patty
Right.
Kane.
Yeah. It's a new age of kids that are like, I'd rather just go play video games instead of.
I don't actually drink. I'm just gonna have a case of BioSteel and then go to bed.
Yeah.
Second he did his stick toss Selly, I was like, I'm a fucking fan. Like,
Yeah.
Against the Hawks, I was like,
and
oh my god, how do you?
Too.
It was so awesome. But you're talking about Patrick Kane and all that, and let's just take a minute to say, really, Kaner doubters, like you really doubted playoff Kane wasn't anything worth trading for, and he's fucking tore it up the first 2 games.
Well, I mean, he still got a point in the last 2 that they lost.
I know, but
really.
Game 2 was like vintage Patrick Kane. Like,
he's got a point in every game right now.
Yeah, he was a game changer in that game too.
Disgusting.
He hasn't been great at home those 2 games, but nobody on the Rangers has. Like, I'm sure
that goal he scored in game 2 was so gross.
Oh, that was vintage.
Takes off.
Oh.
I just don't understand how they just gave him all day.
No.
They're like, he's not going to be able to do anything from the corner.
I think everybody thought he was going to slide it over to Kreider for that. I think that's what it was. Yeah.
His little backhand top shelf.
You forget about how great his backhand is.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Fucking
so good. So goddamn good. Moving on.
Yeah, you got anything else for that series? I mean, it's 2-2. I mean, we both picked 7-7 for the series. I mean, you sticking with that?
Yeah.
Who'd you guys take?
I took Rangers.
I ended up taking Rangers. I wanted to take the Devils. I want to be on the Devils bandwagon so bad, but
just not this year. I'm telling you.
Next year. Yeah, I took Rangers too.
All right. So then the other series here, because this is a Toronto Maple Leafs podcast, we have the Toronto Maple Leafs up 3-1 on the Tampa Bay Lightning. And this has been already a roller coaster of emotion for Leafs fans, especially after game 1, lose 7-3. And it was just like, oh shit, here we go again. They respond 7-2. Win the game. The best thing about game 2 was Perry scoring and shushing the crowd when he's down 6-2. I thought that was so fucking funny.
And then he gets booted, and the fans are just chanting. What were they saying? Like "fuck Perry" or something?
Something like that.
Should have just chanted "not a saint."
Then game 3 and 4, both in Tampa. Both go to overtime. Toronto comes up big on both of those. Take a 3-1 series lead going back to Toronto.
Should Toronto have won those games?
No. So here's the thing.
Would they ever win those games in the past?
No. That's the thing. So here's let me just go on a little rant here because after that game. Oh, okay. So going into the series, I was pretty excited because this year more than ever, this team looks deep as can be. Defense looks better than they've ever had. Goaltending was definitely a question. Playing Tampa, I was not that worried about playing Tampa this year. They weren't that great during the regular season. I know that they do average regular seasons because they know where they're going to be at, and then they kick it on in the playoffs. I get that. I was a little nervous about that. Vasilevsky was not great during the regular season. He was not his normal self. He let in a lot of easy shots that you do not see him letting up. And plus they had injuries going in too. So I was feeling pretty good. And then after game 1, all of that was gone. All of the confidence was gone. All the feelings. I was like, here we go again. This fucking team.
Rob Schneider, Waterboy. Oh no, we suck again.
Yeah. I was like, it's over in 4. Fuck. But then game 2 happened, and I'm like, all right, this is exactly what happened last year. Toronto swept the floor with them, and then Tampa kicked it back to them in game 2. Like, it's exactly what happened last year. Just reverse the games. Game 3 happens, and they score that. They get outplayed the entire game. And then they score that late goal and then score to win in overtime. And I'm like, that's crazy. They usually are the team letting up the late goal and losing in overtime, and the team that outplays the other team but ends up losing. I'm like, wow, that's great. We stole a game in Tampa. We got home ice again. Game 4 rolls around and it's 4-1. I'm like, all right, like there's still time, but like, it was third period, about 10 minutes left, 4-1. And in my mind, I'm just like, all right, outscore them this period so that you can roll it into the next game with that momentum, because they were not very good again. They couldn't enter the zone. They couldn't sustain pressure. Tampa would just hound them anytime they had the puck. And then they fucking came back and won. And I'm telling you, this team is different. Like, none of that, all of that happens to the Leafs. That's not what the Leafs do. And now the roles are reversed, and you listen to Austin Matthews' post-game interview, and he's not happy about what happened, but he's not looking forward. He's like, the hardest game to win is the fourth one, and we know that, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to enjoy that tonight, but everything's going next game. Like, that's what we're thinking about, and that's never been their mindset either. Like, that things are different this year, and I honestly think adding Ryan O'Reilly is one of the biggest pieces that they could have done, and Luke Shen, honestly. Like, when you saw all the chirping going on in the past couple of games, Shen's in the middle of it all, just absorbing all the blows, because he was on that team just 2 years ago. Like, he's just absorbing all those blows from all those guys, just letting all the other guys stay aside, let them play their game. And then Ryan O'Reilly, just that guy, he's a fucking gamer. Like, he's in every play. He's in every play to turn the game around. Like, he's just stealing pucks off his sticks. He's setting up plays. Like, he's just doing all the little things right that everybody else sees, and he's staying calm in the big time situations. And then you have Matthews, Tavares, O'Reilly as your center depth. Like, that's unbelievable. Like, I don't want to look forward, like, ahead of this year's, because they haven't gotten past winning a fourth game since 2004. But if they win this game Thursday and they roll and they play Boston next round, it's going to be a fucking series. And not to get ahead of that, but if they beat that, it's kind of like Capitals finally beating the Penguins vibes, Like, if they can get past Tampa this year and then next round get past Boston, I don't see them anybody stopping them.
That's the two-headed beast right there. The two teams that have been in their way the last 3 years or whatever in this whole drought in recent memory, and
a lot longer than 3 years.
Yeah, but even you get past those, holy shit. This game 4, it really reminded me, like, I got the same feeling of this game that I did when the Blackhawks comeback game against Nashville, when Hossa was in the box and all that. And I was just like, holy shit, this is like the one, like, on the DVD, and there's like, oh, our playoffs were set, the difference was made in this game and all this kind of stuff. I was like, this is the game you got to remember down the line. Yeah. And
that's the kind of confidence you end up getting and looking back to later on in different series and different games. You go, well, we did that once. Like, what's going to stop us from doing it again? And that's the kind of stuff that Tampa has had the past 3 seasons. They never feel like they're out of it. And in any situation, they never feel like they're out of it. And that's what Toronto's always been missing. Or they're with the lead and they get comfortable like Tampa did last game. Tampa did exactly what the Leafs do. They got complacent with where they were at. They were thinking about next game going back to Toronto tied 2-2. You can't do that. And I'm still shocked that Tampa let that happen, because it's honestly, I was thinking it's exactly like Bane from Batman, where he's like, victory has defeated you, because they've been winning too much that I think they got complacent finally.
Yeah. I think too, you kind of nailed it with Ryan O'Reilly. Adding a Stanley Cup champion,
Conn Smythe,
and like a captain of a Stanley Cup champion team to your roster.
Trophy winner too.
Bring that experience into the locker room, because it's like they have the great talent in the world, but they had nobody that's proven it. They have nobody that has shown anything for it. Now you got the experience in there. And I don't know. I feel this year's different for them. I really do. And
the only thing that scares me is everybody's saying that, and now I'm like, God damn it, don't fucking do it.
It's the same as like when the Hawks were in Tampa's position, and like everybody would be like, oh, they're done. And then they would come back and push game 7 and still be like pushing OT in game 7 because
2013 when against Detroit they pushed it to game 7. Like,
well, they did that in was it 2011 or something against whenever they played Vancouver and they game 7 after beating down 3-1.
Yep. I mean, they did that after 2013 too against the Blues. They were down 3-1, pushed it to game 7. Like they always did that shit.
And people were counting them out, and then it's just like it's one of those teams where like they've been to all the way 3 times. They just didn't win last year. Like you can't count that team out. I think the thing that was craziest to me was the fact that like the Leafs blew them the fuck out game 2, and then they still won game 3. And that doesn't happen. That doesn't happen to Vasilevsky. That doesn't happen to Tampa. And it's like they won game 4 after that too. That's not something that Tampa does. So that's what's like kind of fucking weird. And also
Vasilevsky does not lose back-to-back games, let alone
absolutely not.
His like playoff record is like 20-1 or something like that, coming off of a loss or something like that. Like
after a game where he lets up like 4 or 5 plus, he was something like 7-1 or something. Like in his save percentage was like something like 920 plus, and it's just like, oh god, like you just angered the beast, and then all of a sudden, no, it didn't really matter. Like they still fucking pulled out W's out of their fucking ass too. It's not like, I mean, they should have lost and they didn't, and that's the craziest part about it.
There's 11 minutes left in the third period, 4-1, and they won.
Yeah,
it doesn't happen.
This is just a lot of hockey catch up to Tampa a little bit.
Possibly, but I mean, technically, it's not as much as it like would have been in regular years. Like they had half a season, they had a whole like summer off, and then the playoffs for 2020.
And I mean, you look at like their bottom 6. Not all those guys were there for all the cup runs. Like Hagel was just there last year. Nick Paul was just there last year. They just added Tanner Janot. I mean, Maroon's been to fucking 4 straight finals. Perry's been to 3 straight. So I mean, like those guys have, but like their third line. I mean, Hagel's been jumped up to the second line, but like a lot of those guys haven't been there for all of those runs. But I don't know what it is with Vasilevsky, and I don't know if it's that somebody saw that who is a Detroit's head coach saying that they know that he does not see well from shots from the point. Or
who was that?
I think it was Detroit's head coach because he was an assistant with Tampa, wasn't he?
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I don't know if the Leafs saw that and that's what been their game plan, or if it's just working out that way. But like I said, I didn't think Vasilevsky was having that great of a year for his standards. Obviously, he's still having a good year, but like for his standards, he wasn't. But now, I mean, you look back, 4 out of those 5 goals in game 4 from the shots from the point, whether deflected or not, they were shots from the point. And 3 out of 4 were from outside the circles in game 3. Like that's not, like that's something.
He was
and
like,
now the rest of the league's going to figure that out too.
He was like 23 for 24 in shots that were just like average, from around the net and all that kind of stuff. Then he was 3 for 6 on like hard, like good quality, like from the point, with traffic and all that. And it's almost like, is it more on the defense in front of him, or is it on him that, those kind of opportunities are getting through to him?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Like I mean, they've been having some really good screens. I mean, Tavares has been in front a lot. Plus, O'Reilly again. I mean, I forget which goal it was, but you look and I think it was the Morgan Riley that tied it. Tavares is right in front of Vasilevsky, and nobody's pushing him, and O'Reilly's crossing at the same exact time. I mean, them two in front of the net is just perfect for the Leafs, and it's just chaos for Tampa. Like, how do you stop both of them?
Big ass body in front. Like that's such an old school hockey mentality. It's like,
and it's so weird to me too, because Vasilevsky is huge.
He's huge.
Like you would be able, I would assume he could see around pretty much everybody.
Yeah, and I mean the game winner in game 4, Kerfoot's all alone in front of him. Kerfoot's not a big guy. Like Vasi can see around him. He got a deflection out of it, obviously.
Yeah. Giordano put that in a great spot because that's just going like far post, maybe a little bit wide. You just get your stick on that, tip it, and then it hits the ice and catches the corner of the post.
See, that's another thing. That doesn't happen to the Leafs either. Like,
No, it doesn't.
That bounce does not happen. Like that
No.
that thing is missing the net or hitting post and going out. Like that's
it probably hits the edge of the puck hits the edge of the ice, flips a bit, hits directly onto the post, and comes right back out.
Or just lays on the line. Just lays on the line. I don't know. Like it's just, I don't know.
And I feel like it's different. I feel like it's going to finally be their time. But then at the same time, I just think about what Tanner says every year. Yeah. Until they do it, I have a hard time believing they're going to do it.
I believe they're going to do it, but I need to see it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
you're going to have to prove me wrong. Like as soon as they win and it doesn't, and they're past the first round, I'll be like, hey, maybe it's their year. Like, it's the greatest part about this one is the story that's built up for this the whole time is the fact that like they can't get past round 1 or game 7 round 1. It's literally the last game of round 1. They do that, then they're facing their other biggest demon in Boston, who had just put on the most the fucking record-setting season that they have. So it's not like you get to break like the curse of the first round, but then you have probably the best team on record in the NHL to face next.
But here's my question though. What would you rather have in that situation? Would you rather be the team with the best regular season record or the team that is coming off their first round victory?
Nobody gives a shit about the regular season. Everybody's tied once it gets to the playoffs. Nobody fucking cares.
We've said this multiple times in our group chat. Boston has faced no adversity this year. Like, you are going to go against a team. You're going to face a Toronto team who wins their first playoff series. Fucking potentially dominant fashion. I mean, I know there still isn't play, but we're just pretend they win game 4 or game 5, move on. Toronto's gonna be fucking jacked, ready to go, and there's gonna be no stopping them. Boston is like, I would be fucking scared if I was Boston fans. Like, I mean, this is a different beast.
Yeah, Boston fans are never scared, especially when it comes to the Leafs. But like the confidence that they're gonna have going into that series, I'm glad that if they make it past, they have to play Boston in the second round. Because if they had to play Boston in the first round, I don't think they have this kind of confidence. I think playing Tampa first, being able to get over that hurdle, and then play Boston to finally face, like you said, their other demon, like that, the confidence that they have going into that, it's going to be way better than them just playing in the first round over and over again.
Yeah.
If they lose in 7. I swear to God, if they blow this 3-1 lead, I don't know what I'll do. I don't know what I'll do.
I just think one thing that could go against them if they do wrap this up game 5 is how long is it till game 1 of the second round?
But Boston's probably going to wrap it up in game 5 too. So
but I'm just saying though, but I'm just also saying though, I feel waiting benefits Boston more than it does Toronto. I feel like Toronto
if you lose the heat,
momentum, and that going, not sit there for maybe a week.
But that's why Toronto and Tampa got to go 7. Don't lose the heat.
Yeah, but if it goes 7, they lost the heat.
Yeah. Can you imagine it goes 7 and they fucking Kerfoot gets another tip and this time it just sits on the goal?
All of Toronto on the sidewalk. Game 7.
We can move on now, guys. We can move on.
My last question is Bunting. Who comes out of the lineup for him? Or does anybody come out of the lineup?
I don't know. I saw one lineup, like projected lineup, where they took Lafferty out and put Bunting 4th line, and then it was first line was Yarncroke, Nylander, Matthews, and then Tavares, Marner, Nyes, and then O'Reilly, Bunting, Achari, and then I forget what the 4th line was. So he wasn't 4th line; he was 3rd line. But then they bumped somebody. It was Aston Reese,
Kerfoot,
Kampf, and Kerfoot. Which I don't hate that. I mean, Bunting, O'Reilly, Achari, that's a fucking bitch of a line, 3rd line.
Yeah.
As long as Bunting can keep his head. And you can't put him in the top 6 because then you just give him more minutes on the ice to let the players get a hold of him and get in his head and do something stupid again. He needs 3rd line, 4th line minutes.
Kadri has the tweet of the postseason though too.
Oh, absolutely.
Talking about his suspension, and he's like, "You got to keep me out of this one." But all right, let's move on over to the Western Conference. This one, I don't know. I haven't really been paying attention to the West as much. I just because I feel like
I fall asleep during all the games.
in the East it's
It's
just
too
more.
late. It's too late.
It's got more compelling storylines in my opinion in the East than it does the West. But I will say Colorado Seattle has been turning into a very interesting series, more than I thought it was going to be. We'll kick it off there. That series is tied 2-2, which I knew they were going to steal a game. I did not think they were going to take two from Colorado.
And McCarr just got a 1-game suspension.
What the fuck was he thinking on that?
Yeah, what kind of shit was that? Like the puck was way out of play. Like
He
shit
said
was
he thought that McCann was turning because the puck was coming down near him, so he was trying to body him before the puck came down near them. But it was nowhere near him. Like the play was dead.
Yeah,
And he just wrecked him. And now they took out a 40-goal scorer for them. Like
now McCann's out too.
Yeah.
This is fucking stupid.
Yeah, so that series tied 2-2.
I mean, one, I didn't like Kemper last year, but he won the cup, and I didn't think Georgiev was going to be that great to fill in, but I thought he'd be pretty good. But I don't think he's been great. They lost. I mean, their depth isn't that great. I mean, they don't have Landeskog. They lost Kadri from last year. Like they lost some guys, and it's showing.
It's crazy seeing a Stanley Cup team actually have to lose players again. Fucking Tampa, no income tax that they can keep everybody.
Pretty nice.
I would love to see Seattle come out of this one. I would love to see it.
Yeah, I would love that. Would just be great, just because of the like. I'm sure no one has that.
Yeah, nobody except for Seattle fans.
Oh my god! Looking at just like their Colorado's lines right now, it's their first lines: Evan Rodriguez, Nate McKinnon, and Arturi Lehkonen, and then second line is Matt Nieto, JT Compher, and Mikko Rantanen.
Yeah, like they just aren't as deep as they were last year.
No, their defense is still pretty solid. I mean, but they're going to be without Cale Makar, and like you said, like Georgiev or whatever. Like he doesn't like. I don't know. I feel like Kemper was better, but it's one of those situations where I think like whatever it is with the New York Rangers backup goalies, like getting traded or going to other teams and being the starters, like doesn't fucking work out in the long run.
Yeah,
it happened with Ranta. He went to Arizona and then whatever. Yeah. Like he's fine in Carolina, but Cam Talbot went to Edmonton, fucking nothing.
But then he went to Minnesota and he was good.
Yeah, then he went to Minnesota. No, he didn't go to Minnesota directly. He ended up playing in Philly.
Oh yeah,
yeah. It was the year. I only know this because we looked up Carter Hart recently, and then the year that Carter Hart actually started was because they had like 8 goalies used, and Cam Talbot was one of them.
I do remember that. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like you have Shesterkin and Lundqvist, and anybody behind them is going to be decent. But then they become a starter finally, and it's just like you're not a starter. You're a good backup.
Yeah, they want to be like the starter so bad, and like everybody thinks that they're gonna play well because like those guys played really great, and they're coming in and getting some wins on pretty decent teams, and then they take over the starting role somewhere else, and it's like, what the fuck is going on? It's like, yeah dude, you're a backup.
And the Rangers are usually the Rangers usually have a better team in front of them than where they go. Like Talbot didn't have a great team in Edmonton, obviously not in Philly. I mean, but Colorado's good. But like I said, they don't have as much depth, and they've had a lot of injuries this year too.
Is Colorado maybe one of the like weaker defending Stanley Cup champions in recent memory?
St. Louis.
Yeah, I'd say St. Louis.
Yeah, I mean Colorado definitely took a huge hit by like losing Kadri, not having Landeskog, and like I think losing Kemper wasn't good for them either. But he got him a fucking Stanley Cup, so that works.
Yeah, that's fair.
I also wouldn't have paid him what he got in Washington if I was them. They couldn't have. Yeah, I'd probably say St. Louis because
Nichushkin scratched.
What?
Wait, what's going on with Nichushkin? He's not playing right now. He's got a personal thing.
Yeah,
so lineup.
Apparently, like he was escorted out of their hotel in Seattle by security, and they don't know like where he went.
Oh, really?
That's what I heard. Like they didn't know like where he went with them. and like he's just out right now.
He was a major part of their cup run last year.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
He was
why
huge.
he got a huge fucking ticket of $6 million, a little over $6 million.
Yeah, and he was hurt almost the whole year too.
Yeah, that's the other thing. They had ran into so many injuries. I don't know. I mean, Colorado's not looking too hot going into the game 5, but I mean, Seattle losing. I don't know if Seattle losing McCann is as bad as Colorado losing Makar, because Seattle has, as a team, picked it up whenever they needed something, and it's not just one person, like the entire season.
Yeah, I mean, they don't have like a special goal scorer. I mean, McCann got 40, but like,
yeah, a quiet 40.
Yeah, like he's not like the go-to goal scorer guy though. Like they have like, I think we talked about this last time I was on, but they have a bunch of like second and third line up and down their lineup. That's all they are.
Yeah.
It's just wave after wave.
And I just remembered when Tanev scored that one goal in Colorado and just fucking
Do the kiss.
Oh, it was the kiss. Yeah. He
kiss.
did the kiss to the fan, and I was just like,
Yeah.
fucking love it. I think they lost that game anyway.
They did. It was the kiss of death.
Yeah, that's just hilarious. I love it when people are doing that shit. I completely forgot to mention during the Tampa and Toronto series, but there was that fight that Jeannot and Luke Shen got into, and then Jeannot went to the box and was fucking chirping fans and like about to lose it. Like,
and then Maroon almost took a swing at one of them.
Yeah, and oh god, that fight was a great one.
Did you see Jeannot's hand after?
Feisty playoffs, man.
It really has been. Well, it's been a lot of blowouts, and teams get pissed off after the game. And did you see Jeannot's hand after that fight?
Yeah.
Oh my god, just a bloody mess.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was one of the best fights.
I forgot. That just made me think of all that. Oh my god, so good. I love playoff hockey.
Oh yeah. All right. The next series is the Dallas Stars and the Minnesota Wild. That series is also tied 2-2. Interesting move by Minnesota in this one. After picking up the game on win and putting Fleury in the net for game 2. Yeah. I thought that was very weird. I mean, it was cool.
Dallas is up 2-0 right now anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, that game started too?
Yeah.
7.
And they're with Gustafson again.
Yeah.
Fleury got a point. That's one.
Fleury with that appearance though is 17 straight playoff appearances for him.
Do you think they put him in just so he can keep that going? Because it doesn't make sense to. Yeah, I get that you're.
I don't know
doing
why
that all year, but like that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a hot hand. I mean, Gustafson's a hot hand. Why not stick with that?
That's what every Stanley Cup champion has done.
Yeah.
I mean, the hot hand. Especially since they went back with him game 3 and fucking won.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't get it. But Minnesota's.
It might end up biting them in the ass, man. Like, kind of just gave up a game by just trying to like spread the wealth.
Yeah, I literally have no idea. I can't even like come up with a reason for that. It makes zero sense. But yeah, again, 2-2. I think I had this series going 6 or 7. So I mean, it's right on pace for that.
Yeah, I had it going 7.
Yeah, Minnesota. I shocked at how well Minnesota has done this year. It's given the whole situation and the fact that they are still tied up in this. I mean, I guess I don't know. Dallas. Really, I mean, are they? I haven't been following them this year, so I don't know.
I don't like Dallas. I think they're phonies. I picked Minnesota in 7. I don't like Dallas. I don't know what it is. I don't like them. I think adding Domi was actually a really good move. I think he fits that team really well. But they rely on Ottinger too much, and when Ottinger's not on, like it shows. Yeah. You know, like Heiskanen's a great fucking defenseman. But after that, it's like they don't have that great of D. I mean, they've got and then I mean you have Jason Robertson, who's just nasty, Rupe Hintz, who's unbelievable, but then they lost Pavelski.
Scored a hat.
Oh, that's right. I forgot they lost Pavelski.
Yeah, they lost Pavelski. Like that line's unbelievable, but other than that, like they aren't that great. I mean, Sagan's actually stepping it up in the playoffs, which you never hear about, but it's because Pavelski got hurt and he jumped up the lineup. But I don't know. I think they're phonies. Like I don't think they're that great.
just looking at their lineup, I feel like they should be doing so much better in this series. Like you have the right now first line of Jason Robertson, Rupe Hintz, and Tyler Seguin, who they're doing fine. Second line, you have Mason Marchment, Ty Dellandrea, and Max Domi. And Mason Marchment had a good season last year, at least in Florida. I don't know about how he did this year. Ty Dellandrea, I think, is still kind of like he's 22. He's a younger guy. And Domi had a good season with the Hawks. And they have 0 fucking points on that line right now. And then you have Jamie Benn, Wyatt Johnston, and Evgeny Dadonov, which isn't too bad. That Johnston kid is 19 and fucking tied Matty Beniers for most goals by rookies this year. But he's still he's only got 1 assist right now. And then fourth line, you got that Kiviranta guy who was kind of a playoff hero. Was it last year? He had like a hat trick to win like a game 7 or something.
Yeah.
Radek Faxa and Luke Glendening. So those are just like depth guys that like aren't too bad, but they all have at least a couple points either. Are there too. I don't know. It seems like they should be better. And then like Ryan Suter, Miro Heiskanen, Esa Lindell, Yanni Hakanpää, and then Thomas Harley and Joel Hanley. Harley and Hanley? Are you fucking kidding me?
That's what I'm saying though. Like I don't know. Like they just seem like phonies to me. Like I don't.
Yeah, I just like losing Pavelski definitely hurts them.
Huge.
Because
he's a fucking gamer.
So good. I don't understand how Pavelski can be 38 and be even fucking just still super goddamn good.
Well, when you got fucking Robertson and Hintz with you, like tonight, they're up 2-0 right now. First line, first goal, Seguin from Robertson and Hintz. Second goal, Robertson, Hiskin, and Hintz. Like that's all they got.
Yeah,
all you need sometimes.
True. Works in Edmonton.
I feel like, and also not having Ottinger playing like he did like last year in the playoffs when he was basically, last year they didn't win. It was the year before it was Kiviranta because last year they played Calgary and went 7. And they were eliminated first round. Whatever. But yeah, Ottinger had an amazing first round last year, and I think they were just kind of hoping he'd repeat that kind of performance. And I don't know, man, shit's tough. He's super good, but it's fucking tough to do that like consistently in the playoffs, especially against a team like the Wild, who, like we said, are kind of surprising.
Yeah. All right. Anything else for that series?
Nah.
Yeah.
No.
I think the games have been more exciting than they get put on to be. I wasn't that excited about this series, but the games have been pretty exciting between these two teams.
Oh, yeah.
It's definitely the best series in the West, I think, for sure.
Yeah. I think it's been fun to watch.
Robertson versus Kaprizov, like that's just fun, you know?
Yeah.
One series that I had zero interest in, the Golden Knights versus the Winnipeg Jets.
Yeah.
The Knights are up 3-1 in the series. Winnipeg won the first game 5-1. I was like, oh, sweet, Winnipeg's gonna take the series to them. And then it's been all Vegas since. 5-2 win, 5-4 win in double OT, 4-2 win. It was Morrissey's out now for the remainder of the rest of the series after getting hurt.
Oh, they're dust. Yeah, they're done.
Yeah,
you got Connor Hellebuyck having less than 90% save percentage, and that's not gonna work. They're losing to Laurent Brossoit.
Yeah,
Winnipeg is just such a disappointment. Like
every year.
On paper, they should be so good.
I feel like since the year the Preds went to the Stanley Cup final and they had that series against Winnipeg, ever since that series,
that was they had that series, and then Vegas beat didn't Vegas beat Nashville or something, and then Vegas went to the final because they beat the shit out of each other.
Oh, that wasn't that. Oh, that was in 2018 that year.
That wasn't Vegas Jets in the final or the conference final.
I think it was.
Oh,
and then
okay.
Vegas went on.
Whatever year that they played each other in the playoffs, I feel like that. I thought we were going to get that for so many years, and it's just been such a disappointment since.
Yeah, their team hasn't really changed much, and I feel like they should be like fuck, man, I can keep saying this, but on paper, they look like they should be one of the top teams in the West, and they were in January, and then they were like, well, that was fun, and they fucking just decided to stop playing hockey,
I
basically.
mean, you got Kyle Connor, Nikolai Ehlers, who's hurt, which that doesn't help. But Connor, Ehlers, Wheeler, Scheifele, like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Dude, fucking, I used to like really like Scheifele, and then the more I've like seen him like bitch and moan in the playoffs, and like the shit that he pulled, was it 2 years ago, where he fucking completely took off Jake Evans' head.
Yeah.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
like, yo, what are you doing? Like, I understand you don't swear, but frick, man.
But frick, you're a freaking jerk.
What a
Yeah,
disappointment it is that like Hellebuck's fucking 8.95 and a 3.22 goals against average is like in the playoffs. Like, you can't do that, man. Like, if you're
especially
gonna
with
be
how much they lean on him.
like a Vezina nominee like yearly, you can't be a mediocre in the playoffs.
But then again, does it that kind of goes to my question about Vasilevsky? I go, is it on him or is it on the team that's in front of him? Like how much are they helping him, really helping him out there?
But he's shown that he doesn't like. He's proven over the last like 3 years he's just a monster. So I don't know.
He's
Probably just
stolen so many games for them over the past couple of seasons, and he has not come close to stealing one this year.
Fair.
Yeah. God, what a gross series! I've not paid attention to that one at all.
Me either. The only thing I've paid attention to was the whiteout, because whiteout in Winnipeg's always a blast.
Oh yeah.
That game one when that Morgan Barron kid got fucking skate to the face.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, 75 stitches.
And then came back 75 stitches later.
Just threw a bubble on.
He looks like a monster.
It was the same period, wasn't it? Like he came back same period.
I don't know if it was the same period. I think the period was close to ending and he just came back for the next one or something.
No, I think it was mid-period.
He might have been mid-period though. But yeah, I know he didn't miss like that much time at all. But that's just hilarious. That's just hockey stuff, man.
Also, I hate Winnipeg. I also think they're phonies. I don't like them.
I had them winning because I was just like, I mean, if anything, Hellebuck can steal this series because it comes down to a goaltending matchup. I'd take him any day over whoever Vegas had in net. Yeah. And he's just a fucking turd in the toilet, man. He's just floating there doing nothing.
Getting Mark Stone back was huge. Eichel's actually performing, which I wasn't sure how he was going to do first playoffs ever, how he would play, but he's been good.
Yeah, I'm sure he's fighting at the fucking bit, chomping at the bit to get in that fucking playoff action.
Mark Stone, 5 points in 4 games. It's like he rested up or something and just took his time to come back and play.
I cannot say anything because we took full advantage of that in 2015.
Man, they have their 3 lines are so evenly like kind of spread out in Vegas. Like now they have it as Amadio, Eichel, and Marchessault, Riley Smith, Carlson, and Kessel, and then Brett Howden, Chandler Stevenson, and Mark Stone. If you're rolling 3 lines that are pretty goddamn good, like that's not too shabby.
It's funny how of all the guys, Marchessault, Smith, and Carlson made it from the original draft when they came into the league. Like those are the 3 guys that made it through all of it.
Yeah. They still have Braden McNabb too on the back end as part of that expansion draft.
Yeah.
Well. All right. Edmonton and the Kings is also tied up 2-2. Overtime hockey has been the theme of this one. 3 of the 4 games gone to overtime. LA took 2 of the overtime games. Edmonton won the last one 5-4 in overtime. Draisaitl's being Draisaitl on ice for all 14 Edmonton goals.
Dude, everybody talks about McDavid. Draisaitl is fucking disgusting.
So good.
He is absolutely disgusting.
Can you imagine being like the second best player in the world, but like nobody on the ice pays attention to you because the first best player in the world is also on the ice?
I know. McDavid's probably just like, yeah, cover me all you want. He's got this. Like, I'm getting angry because I'm not putting up points, but at least he's doing it for me. Like,
it's Jordan and Pippen like in Edmonton, man. Like,
yeah. But dude,
can't win.
Philip Deneau is the best shutdown centerman in the NHL. Like hands down, he is the best shutdown centerman in the NHL.
Insane.
Being able to do what he's doing, and like he did it in Montreal too. Like when they went on their run, he's so good. I'm so upset that the Hawks traded him for who was it? Dale Weiss
and Thomas Fleischmann.
Wait.
Like a maximum of 15 games with the Hawks. Like, fuck, dude, this kid is so good. I love this Kings team. I think the Oilers still got it, especially after the Kings blew that lead in the last game and lost the game. I think Edmonton's going to be rolling. Well, we'll see what kind of Skinner's playing tonight for Edmonton. We'll see who shows up for that. Like, if he's going to show up on his good side or his bad side, because he was not good in that last game. But this Kings team is good, and Korpisalo is exactly what they needed in that. He's been awesome for them.
Yeah, I'm wondering if Kings fans are still upset about that quick trade or not.
Yeah, I would not be.
Like, he's not even fucking playing for Vegas.
Like, are they upset that he got traded because of just because of the history? Like the same way.
Probably the history, though.
Upset.
We don't want Taves to get traded or Kane to get traded. Like, I think that was it.
That's
but like,
yeah.
But you got Korpisalo, who's your starter.
Yeah, you got a legitimate starting goalie now.
Right.
You're gonna play up on, and like what do you have to be upset about? Yeah, it sucks. Trust us, we know it sucks losing your legends. We feel it, but yeah, I don't know how you'd be upset about that. Did you guys see what Edmonton's doing? They're selling out their barn for away games, and they're doing live ice tracker.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet.
It's so cool.
Yeah, it's crazy. Winnipeg, Toronto, and Edmonton, when they're at home or on the road, they're just selling out their little square areas, like outside the buildings, and just fans are just there to just party, and it's the best.
This fucking Edmonton team, I'm just looking at like their stats through the lineup, and they have like zero depth, like points wise. You have Draisaitl with 9 points, McDavid with 6, which is low as fuck for McDavid right now. Like, he should be at like 20. And then you have Evan Bouchard with 7, and then you have a three-way tie for third with like the other kind of bigger guys on the team with Nugent Hopkins, Hyman, and Evander Kane. And then no one else has more than 1 point. You have 4 out of they also are only listing 11 forwards and 7D. So you have 4 guys with 0 points on the forward end and 2 with 1, and then 2 defensemen with 1 point and 4 with 0. Like, their whole plan is not to have everybody contribute. Their whole plan is to make sure that when McDavid and Draisaitl are not on the ice, they hopefully do not get scored on, and that's the whole fucking thing.
Keep the puck out of the net.
Yeah. Jesus Christ.
I mean, that's what they've been doing since they got McDavid, pretty much. Like
it's not going to work in the playoffs when you have guys that are specifically like Philip Deneau, we're going to be out there to shut them down and then get the fuck off the ice. Like
we said going in the series, it's like if they're able to shut down McDavid, Edmonton's got no chance. And
Draisaitl. Big Draisaitl.
Oh, that's why he's got 9 points.
Yeah.
But oh my god, man! Like, how do you play on a line with Draisaitl as Kyler Yamamoto and fucking have 0 points right now in 4 games when he's got 9? It's all on the power play. Like, that's the other. Yeah, I'm sure that's what it is. Like, you like, if the LA can just stay out of the box, like, Edmonton's screwed.
Yep, their power play is unbelievable.
So fucking. I don't know if this is something I also recently saw. I just saw Klim Kostin. Like, it is nothing. He hasn't really done anything. It's just I saw online recently that his nickname on the team is Klim Shady. I was like, oh, dude, that's fucking great.
Oh man. All right, you guys got anything else for that series?
I kind of just want LA to win.
Yep.
I just like Edmonton's is not one of those teams that I want to see win.
I want McDavid to win and Draisaitl because they're so much fun to watch, and I want to keep watching them. But I love this LA team. Like they're so good, and honestly, I think whoever wins this series is rolling next series.
Oh yeah,
Vegas,
likely Vegas.
I think whoever this is, they roll.
It's LA.
Either you get
quick, right?
Either you get Edmonton, who's going to be going against Vegas, and Vegas isn't going to have a Philip Deneau type guy. I mean, Mark Stone maybe, but like, who really knows how healthy he is after that, like back surgery? And then you're also not playing like Corpusalo, who's been playing massively, like fantastic. And then if you instead are getting LA versus Vegas, like there's
on top of Eichel, easy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like Vegas doesn't have a fucking McDavid or a Draisaitl, and LA is going to be like, oh, like these guys are all normal, like cool.
Yeah.
All right. Last question I got about the playoffs in general is there anything that's surprising you guys so far through
Seattle with the 2 wins. That's about it, really.
I mean, Devils bouncing back after the first 2 games.
Yeah.
Seattle.
I don't know if that's really much of a surprise, but it's like, fuck yeah, that's dope. that's good.
I didn't expect them to do that. I guess like going into the playoffs, like everything that's going on is kind of suspected, like you said, besides Seattle.
Yeah. All right. Well, we will pick those up next week. Hopefully, we'll have some series wrapped up and we can preview some of the next round. Nolly, you have any trivia you want to put on us this time?
I do.
Ooh, Islanders up 3-1.
And I got some playoff Patty Kane trivia.
I
don't know if you guys watched the Rangers Devils. It was either game 2 or game 3. They put up a stat that said Kane is 3rd all time in OT playoff goals.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Didn't see it. I don't know.
What?
Are you asking who are the other 2?
No. I have them if you guys want to guess, but I have him here. So he's got. Do you guys know how many he has?
You mean like active players?
No, all time.
All time OT playoff goals.
He's tied 3rd all time in OT
Isn't
playoff.
It like 5?
Yeah, he's got 5. Can you guys name the 5 that he has?
Oh, there's the one for sure in 2010 against Philly.
Yeah.
To go to the cup.
LA, yeah. Western Conference Finals 2013.
Yep.
I feel like there's probably one against St. Louis. Is there? Yeah. Wasn't it like a wraparound? It was a wraparound OT winner. I can't remember what year it was. 2015?
13?
No, 2013?
2016. Yeah,
okay.
That was.
Oh yeah, okay. I mean, I would just guess there's one against Minnesota.
Yep. Remember what year?
09?
Probably 2012, 2013, 2014.
No, it was 2014.
Vancouver.
2014.
Vancouver. Yeah, Vancouver.
Nope.
No Vancouver one?
Nope.
Sucks.
Happened in 2014. Also, It was the round before they played Minnesota.
Nashville?
No, it was the Blues again.
Oh, it was the Blues again. There's 2 against the Blues?
So he's got 5, and 3 of them were series clinchers.
Oh, yeah. That's nasty.
So he's got the cup final one, the conference final one. 2014 Minnesota was 2nd round to end the series. And then round 1 against the Blues in 2016, game 5. Round 1, 2014 against the Blues, game 4. And the 2 guys above him are Sakic is all time with 8, and Maurice Richard is 6. And then Kane, Corey Perry, and Glenn Anderson are all tied with 5.
I wonder if Kane can take the lead or take sole 3rd this year.
Well, he tied for 2nd.
Tie 2nd. Yeah.
Yeah, he ties Maurice Richard for 2nd. It's just wild. I heard that and I was like, I need to look all. I was trying to think of them myself. Obviously, I came up with the 2. I came up with Minnesota. I couldn't remember the 2 Blues ones. Well, actually, I ended up thinking of the wraparound Blues one because that one was unreal.
Yeah,
just walk everybody.
The patience.
Yeah, it was so gross. Brian Elliott was in that. Smelling it.
Can I give a bad take?
Yeah.
I think it's just so ridiculous. I'm going to say this. I think the clinching goal against LA was a much better goal than the one against Philly.
Yeah,
That's a bad
of course
take.
it was. It was disgusting. That was so
It
It was a
nasty.
hat trick goal. It was a 1T from Johnny.
Okay, because I thought the reason I said that was
We
gonna be
knew
bad.
it went in.
Yeah,
No, that's what I thought.
And
Okay,
the
I thought you
heartbreak
guys
selling.
shit. I thought you
Yeah.
guys were gonna give me shit because it was a conference final versus the first Stanley Cup in 49 years. But I'm like, it just
the
everything
goal that
about
nobody knew went in except for him. That was
it's
a
just
weird
probably
one.
biased because all of us, like I said, we were all up at the lake for that, and that fucking moment was fucking amazing.
That like everything about it, like the celly, like you said, the heartbreaker. You could see the one hat flying like across the screen as he's like punching the heart too. Like it's just everything about it was perfect. Pass from Johnny T, like it was awesome.
God, I miss those days.
There's also a
like any more like mid fucking dynasty Hawks fucking awesomeness. Like, God, what a great time to be a fan.
it was awesome.
Yeah.
I hope we get that again in like 6 years.
Yeah. Bedard from Nazar.
There's a YouTube video of all 25 Hawks playoff OT winners, and it's fun. I'll send it to you guys.
Yeah, I'll watch that.
I was gonna send it to you guys, and I'm like, no, that's my trivia. I gotta save it.
All right. Well, I think that about does it here for us. Yeah. I mean, playoff hockey is the best. Hope everybody's enjoying it.
Calgary gets a new arena.
Calgary gets a new arena.
Did you guys see Will Ferrell at the Kings games?
Yeah.
Face paint.
Hilarious.
So good.
Like,
I don't know if he's trying to blend in and make sure nobody notices him, or if he's just like
Trying to stand out.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's episode 221. Tanner, what are you calling it?
Oh, baby.
Oh baby.
It's I don't know. It's playoff time, baby.
So we call this is a Leaf podcast.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we can do that. It's like I don't know, man. Fuck. It's three. Leafs are up 3-1 again.
I'm just calling it. Let's just call it Leafs podcast. I think that's funny.
Yeah. Okay.
Episode 221 Leafs podcast. Make sure to follow social media at WCB Podcast. Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcast.
This would have been perfect if it was podcast number 321, and it would have been 321. That's what the series is at right now. Just stupid thoughts, man. My head hurts.
All right, we will see you guys on the next one.
If Toronto beats Tampa, Hawks get pick 20. We figured it out.
We should have called it pick 20.
Yeah, right? Possible 20th overall pick. All right. Love you, boys. Bye.
Thanks for listening to the WCB podcast. Be sure to subscribe wherever you heard this podcast. To connect with Jarom and Tanner, check out the boys at WCB Podcast on all social media. We'll see you next time.